Thank you, everybody. This is the Ayer Affordable Housing Committee, and I'm going to call the meeting to order at 10 o'clock. With regards to COVID, I've got to read this. Due to the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic, Governor Baker issued an emergency order temporarily suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law. Public bodies otherwise governed by the open meeting law are temporarily relieved from requirement that meetings be held in public places, open and physically accessible to the public. So as long as the measures are taken to ensure public access to the body's deliberations through adequate and alternative means. This meeting will be broadcast live on Channel 8 and on Zoom. The public may participate remotely by following the call-in information on the bottom of the live broadcast screen. For Zoom meeting information relating to remote participation, please contact Carly Antonellis, Assistant Town Manager, 978-772-8220, extension 100, or Alicia Hersey, Community Development Program Manager, at ahersey@ayer.ma.us, or call 978-772-8220, extension 122 prior to the meeting. So I do appreciate everybody for showing up. Can I go ahead and get a roll call of who is here, please?
Karen Swanfeld, Air Council on Aging.
Ken Diskin, citizen.
Ken and Karen are both members of the committee. We also have Alicia, correct? Did we lose her? Oh, right.
Sorry,
Okay.
yes, Alicia Hersey,
Okay, and
Community Development.
all right, and who else do we have here with us? Blair?
Yes, Blair Haney, the Montechusett Regional Planning Commission.
All right, welcome Blair. And Karen?
Yes, Karen Chapman, Montechusett Regional Planning Commission. Good morning.
Good morning. Long time no see.
Yes,
All right. Okay, what we have is the agenda. I'd like to go ahead and see if anybody has any of the team members have got any changes that they would like to see on the agenda. If it looks good, can I get a motion to approve the agenda?
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda as written.
Okay, and that's Karen Swanfeld who made the
Swanfeld.
motion. And Ken, you want a second?
I'll second. Thank you.
Okay. All right. So, so all in favor, go through the roll call. Karen?
Aye. Karen
Ken?
Swanfeld.
Aye.
Okay, and chair says aye, so it's been approved.
excuse me, Janet.
Yeah,
I just want to mention that Jonathan Vaz from MRPC is also here.
Good.
okay. I'm gonna ask you, make sure we spell his name correctly. Jonathan.
That is correct.
All right, and it's VO, okay, thank you, Jonathan. VOS. All right, I didn't know if there was one S or two. Okay, moving along, we've got the minutes from January 2nd. I know mine are a little more verbose. Any corrections or additions from these minutes?
I liked them. I thought they were good.
Okay,
I looked it over and I did not see any issues.
all right, then can I have a motion to approve the minutes?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes as written.
I'll second.
And seconds it. Roll call. Ken?
Aye.
Karen?
Aye.
And chair says aye, so it has been approved, and I will sign them whenever I get to, when you send them to me, Alicia. You should have a package too as well. I put in the box out by the side door of the other minutes that I've signed.
Thank you.
All right. Okay, I'm going to take a pause for a minute and see whether or not there's any other public comments or questions from the public today. I'll keep quiet. I knew Sarah wasn't able to make it. today, but I didn't know if anybody else was on. With that, I know that some of the comments that have been given to me is to be sure that when we get this housing production plan and the bylaws that have been sent on to town council, make sure that they are available prior to our February 24th meeting. So that will be something that, as we get a package together for the information session, we'll put that all together. Anybody got any questions with regards to that? Are we all set? Okay. I'm moving right along because I want to spend some time on this housing production plan, and I think everybody wants to, be able to hear. I do appreciate you all coming from Montechusett Regional Planning. Again, Karen, haven't seen you in a while with the open space properties and everything, and it's great to be able to see you guys. So why don't you go ahead and introduce your team, Blair, and I'll let you take it away.
That's great. Thank you, Maya. Yep. Okay, great. Thank you, Janet. I appreciate it. Yes. Hi, everyone. My name is Blair. I am a senior planner with the MRPC, and I am, trying to take this project across the finish line. Alicia and Alan have been doing a great job working with John and Jonathan on getting this together and getting us to where we are. So we're almost there. And I'm here to present the final draft of the production plan. Karen's with me as well, as you heard, and Jonathan's on this meeting. So a couple of quick things, because this is a Zoom presentation. First off, is everyone seeing the PowerPoint presentation right now? Yes.
Yes.
Great. I'm only seeing a select number of people, the faces. So if I miss someone who's raising their hand or something like that, if that person could just interject, or if someone else could call on them, like Janet, if you could do that administratively, I'd appreciate that.
Sure.
The other piece too is that the bullet points on each slide load individually. So I'm going to just click through so that the whole slide is loaded and you can see everything. Some slides I might not cover every little bullet. It's this presentation is a document for you here and now, but also if someone wants to look at it on their own later, there's enough information that they can understand it. And I'm going to be using a little green pointer. So just, if I'm highlighting something, you'll see that on the screen. So I'm going to get it going, and we'll go through it. Like I said, please feel free to stop.
Okay,
Can I jump in
Alicia?
here just real quickly, Blair?
Yes.
Can you explain that we're going to need a vote of the joint planning board and board of selectmen, and that you're going to be doing, I assume, the same presentation for them?
Yes, I am. And sorry, I was going to cover that at the end, but it's great
Then I'll just leave it. I'm sorry.
that you know the context. The goal of today is to get your feedback. We'll integrate those comments, and then after that, the next step is to do a presentation to a joint meeting of the planning board and the board of selectmen to get their approval, and then we have to send it to DHCD to get their approval. And along the way, there might be more comments and some edits. Hopefully, nothing major, but it happens. So that is essentially the procedure. Okay. So,
Wait a minute. When you increased the screen, Blair, it got bigger than it's taken my side off. Can you make it back to the size you had originally?
sure.
Everyone else having the same problem? I've lost part of the slide when you blew it up.
Right. Yes, that makes sense because the faces are covering it.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, the point of doing that is to get the text as big as possible, but hopefully you guys can read this.
Oh, yeah.
We're all trying to make do. All right, so I'll just use my regular pointer and then I'll just click along. So,
Excuse me.
Yep.
I'm sorry, Blair. If
Go
you
ahead.
close the animation pane, it'll get a little bigger.
Yeah.
Over on the right. Over on your right. All the way over to the right. Close the animation pane there.
Oh,
There, yeah. There you go.
There you go.
Sorry.
all right. Can we still see all the text though?
Yes.
Okay. All righty. So the purpose of a housing production plan in HPP is it's a planning document. So it's proactive. You're trying to look forward and see how you can start to produce more affordable housing and who needs it and what type of housing you might look to build. And then you develop goals, and then you develop an implementation process for achieving those goals. So as part of this presentation, it's three big buckets. What did we find, the MRPC? What have we done, you guys, what has Ayer done so far? And then what are you going to do? And how are you going to do it? Those are the three main buckets. The first section will be the demographics and housing analysis. This is called a needs assessment. And then we're also going to look at development constraints and opportunities. What have we done? So the affordable units to date, and then some of your administrative and policy changes that you've accomplished. This helps create a picture of what's happening right now. And then the final phase is sort of the key piece. You know, what are we going to end up doing? How are we going to start moving us forward to more affordable housing? So recommendations and an implementation plan. So what do we find? The key findings related to demographics. We had a population increase of about 11% over the last 19 years. So as of the latest ACS, the American Community Survey, you have 8,100 people in Ayer. You have an aging population. I'll show you a graphic on the next slide, but you've seen a 117% increase in people 55 years or older. You've also seen a decrease in the school age population, 5 to 19. And these two combined together has led to a median age increase of 18% from 34 years of age to 41 years of age. And this type of data will influence, you know, the type of housing you're going to be looking to produce, the type of people that you're going to be focusing on. You have almost 10% of your population that is listed as disabled. That would influence the type of housing you would produce, you know, accessible housing. And then this is a good statistic to keep in mind. Almost 2/3 of all housing is owner occupied. Just a little over 1/3 is rented. So this graphic shows that population change. On the one with the multiple towns shows your population change relative to other communities. You can see you're behind, say, Groton and Shirley, but you're just ahead of Harvard, as well as the Montechusett region and Massachusetts as a whole. The graph on the right shows population broken out by age categories. And you can see over that 19-year period, look at this one right here, 55 to 64. It almost tripled from 526 to 1,400. So you can see that the elderly population is getting more, and then the younger population from 1,400, almost 1,500, down to below 1,000.
This is pretty interesting because the 71, if you go back to that slide, the people over 70, the 75 and over group has not changed that much, yet the 65 to 70 has. Or 65 to 74.
Yeah.
So they're either
Yes.
dying before the 75 or a lot of people moving to town that just retired or something like that.
Yeah.
They haven't got to 75 yet.
Yep. And so that bottom line, you can see the result of all that. The bottom line of that graph is that you're now at an average age of 41 when you were, you know, about 34 years old, 35 years old in 2000. All right, so the key findings are related to housing and income. Compared to the county, the state, and the nation, Ayer has a higher percentage of single-person households and lower percentages of family households, families with children, and husband and wife family combinations. And this has led to, or results in, Ayer has a lower median or average number of housing occupants. So the number of housing occupants, the average number of housing occupants for owners is 2.48, and for renters it's 1.91. And these numbers are well below county, state, and nation averages. The median household income is $92,000 compared to the county, which is $102,000. Median cost of a rental is just over $1,000, and for an owner occupant, usually with a mortgage, is $2,100. So cost burden is a key piece. You're trying to identify who is burdened by the cost of housing in Ayer. And by most professional standards, if you're paying more than 30% of your income towards housing, then you're considered to be cost burdened. 22% of Ayer renters and 22% of Ayer owners fall into that category. Now, these numbers are are half of what the county and state are. So Ayer residents are not as cost burdened. I'm not trying to underplay anybody's struggle with affording housing here in Ayer, but the data shows that, comparatively speaking, Ayer residents are not as burdened as other places. This one I'm not going to go into too much detail on. It's basically a worksheet at how you get to a cost burden for an owner occupant. I did that because, as I said, almost 2/3 of all occupancy tenure is owner occupied. Take the average house of $339,000, down payment, all the expenses to make up your debt service. They call it PITI, principal, interest, tax, and insurance. And that's how you start to understand mortgage average in Ayer, and then how that relates to cost burden. So it equates to about $22,800. And this chart over here talks about affordable housing for area median income. So if you want to qualify for a program, these are the numbers that you have to fall under, depending upon household size. So I pulled out $80,000 for a 3-person household, and that means a person would be spending 28% of their income. So they wouldn't be cost burdened. This is important because it means that people in Ayer could qualify for affordable housing and actually buy something. A lot of places, you might qualify because of your income and household size for affordable housing, but you can't get the mortgage because it's still so expensive. So this might inform your decision makers that owner occupant housing, when you're trying to target affordable housing, owner occupancy might be a good option, because people could actually buy it and qualify for an affordable housing subsidy and get the mortgage. So that's what this graphic shows. It's a worksheet to demonstrate that. So the next big finding that we looked at was what are our opportunities for development? So what are the constraints? What are the opportunities? They're broken out into absolute development constraints and partial development constraints. Absolute is if land is protected, if it's owned by the state, like if it's a park. Partial is like steep slopes or buffer zone to rivers and wetlands. You can do work in there, but there's extra levels of review and permitting. So it can get expensive, and developers tend to stay away from expensive land because it's already hard enough to build affordable housing. The MRPC GIS team did an analysis computing acreage for developed and undeveloped land and broke out the undeveloped land into that which has absolute constraints, partial constraints, and no constraints. So the undeveloped without any constraints equals about 1,200 acres. So that would seem like the most developable land, the best opportunities. However, when I looked at the master plan from 2017, they got a little more granular in looking at it and concluded that there's really about 200 buildable acres in Ayer. So the opportunities for affordable housing development, are going to have to fall within these two areas: the 200 acres, the 1,200 acres, and then the MRPC produced this graphic, which will be part of the plan. This red table shows the percentages and acreage. The legend down here gives you the colors, the color coordination. Essentially, the green represents land that is zone residential. So all of this is zone residential and doesn't have any of those constraints or partial constraints. The gray represents already developed land. The brown represents Devons and land that's zoned for non-residential, so commercial, industrial. So this is, the slides that I just went over pretty much make up the findings, the needs assessment, and it's sort of a snapshot of where you are. And now we're going to look at what you have done. What has Ayer done to address affordable housing? These are your accomplishments. This is like a victory lap for the community doing the things that it's done. So
we need those.
yeah, everybody does. Yeah. So this is your subsidized housing inventory. This is a key thing, the SHI. This information is housed by DHCD. And this is your official count of affordable housing. The June 2019 update showed 280 units out of 3,400 total units, which gives you 8.1% affordable units. And that's a good number. The goal is 10%, and you're getting there. That's very good. So it's great to see. The Ayer Housing Authority, they own two properties, the Silas Nutting Grove Apartments and the Isaacs Lane Apartments. And then they manage another one, it's elderly housing at the Pleasant Street School. Now this is a little bit of a sting, but it needs to be brought to your attention. Since 2017, 15 affordable units have expired and been removed from the SHI. These are either entirely or predominantly a housing rehab program units. And then there's a possibility of losing another 50 or so units over the next 5 years. Units that are going to expire. So you want to keep an eye on those because they're already there. You want to do what you can to try and hang on to whatever units you have. So one of the goals, the reasons to get to 10% is that it gives you a little bit of control to avoid a 40B project, which sometimes are contentious and out of scale with the local community. They get that through a comprehensive permit. However, if Ayer has taken some steps like producing this document and shown that it's producing X number of units per year in affordable housing, so it's moving towards the 10%, they have some leverage to be able to deny a comprehensive permit. This next slide is, it's here for somebody that wants to look over it, but this is your subsidized housing inventory, the June 19 one. I had to break up part of it into two half shots because it wouldn't have fit on this screen and been legible. Yes, these are all your affordable units. and it gives you the expiration date is a key one to look at, and keep your eye on. Perp means in perpetuity, mean it's protected forever. But yeah, like for example, this Willard Street one, May of 2020. So that one may have expired. So you,
Right, yeah, Blair, Karen wanted to say something. And I believe Alicia. Karen?
go ahead.
Yes, thank you. Sorry, Blair. I know we chatted a little bit about the most recent subsidized housing inventory that's online, that's December 2020. And Blair mentioned that you guys want to keep the 2019 numbers in there. And I just want to warn you that when this gets submitted to DHCD, they may say, why didn't you put the most recent SHI numbers in your plan? I just want you to be aware of that.
We haven't discussed that, so that must have come out of the office.
So
Okay.
we were trying to align it with the fact that we were doing the 2019 ACS, but this is a good place for us to flush that out and have a discussion about this, because all those housing rehab properties, when we do a housing rehab project, we actually put a restriction that they need to rent to affordable, but we don't make them LAU units. So
Okay.
they don't qualify. And these are private homes, and when their mortgage expires, so does their housing restriction. And
Right.
most of them don't want to go through the process unless they go through the program again. And we have not been asking people to make their units LAU and local action units. So we have no longer been putting housing rehab onto this list. And we haven't been doing that now for over 8-9 years. Except for when we did the Fletcher building, we put those on the list because that has a longer agreement, and that is a rental, that was an economic development project. But I'm very open to hearing what people think. If you think they're going to push back on us, we can update this to the 2020.
I mean, they're not, it's not, it's just a comment that they'll make. It won't be like, oh, you're not eligible for anything because you didn't put the most recent numbers. These numbers are misleading because the percentage has gone down.
Yes, it has. And it's going down every year.
I'm just alerting you that that's one of the comments they may come back with.
All right, so if that's the case, then we wouldn't have a percentage of 8.1. It's going to be lower than that when we, in this document.
Yes, but it doesn't change anything about your 0.5% that Blair was talking about. It's still 17 and 34.
I think, Blair, we put in the report that it was a 2019 number and there was an expectation of losing X amount of units over a period of time. Is that?
Yes, I mean, the information that's in this PowerPoint was taken directly from, it summarizes the document. So yes, there is a comment in there that additional units, 51 units is what I read, potentially expiring over the next 5 years.
I am not tied to either way. I am really interested in the discussion and happy to go with whatever people feel is the best route.
This document is dated January 2021. All right, the more, in my opinion, the more current that we can make it, the better off we're going to be, because then we're not backtracking as much when we do it again in approximately 5 years. Because there is the dip, and it may help us out in a lot of ways of saying that, we've got some big holes that we're going to need to fill. Plus, we still are doing that 5%, per year of increase. So that's my feeling. I'd rather have it more current. Ken?
I'm not that informed about this, so I'll go with your opinion. I always would believe that things should be current, but if the Economic Development Office has a strong reason for keeping it that way, I'd listen to it and lean that way, but I go with, I guess, the people who drafted the report from Montechusett and yourself as chairman to make the
Mhm.
recommendation.
I
I don't have a strong feeling on my,
Karen? Oh, hold on, Karen Swanfelt?
Hi, guys. I have to apologize. It's absolutely nuts down here this morning with vaccines. And I keep popping in and out because I don't want to be rude, but I'm listening to absolutely everything that you folks are sharing. I agree with what Ken said. I'm not the expert. These numbers are amazing. I, I would think more current, but I'm not the expert. So I'm going to leave this up to our folks at MRPC and economic development. I just think that you guys are the experts and you know where when once this hits the big guys, what they look for. I don't. So I trust you.
Okay, Alicia?
Karen, I mean, Janet, I think that your point that the document's going to say 2021 is important. On the other hand, I always find it hard when charts come from all different years because so I think it's 6 of one, half dozen another. I don't think it matters. So we'll leave it. What does MRPC say?
I mean, I think Karen's point is well taken, that DHCD may inquire about it. I don't know if they go so far as to say, if they tell us what to do. That just may be something that we have to anticipate.
Well, I actually think that this is the second time it's been brought up. So
Yeah.
I'm going to suggest that we go with the newer data. Because once something gets flagged twice, it means we're going to be having it flagged again. So let's just go with the more current data. That's a good sign that it's going to be something that gets flagged.
Okay. We will take care of that, and I will, get this out of the presentation for the planning board and the board of selectmen, and make sure that the written document is updated as well.
Great, thanks.
Cool. All right. This is a great piece of accomplishments for all of you. We used the 2017 master plan as a jump off point because there was a lot of analysis done. So it's a bit of a reset in terms of thinking in the community. So we've been using that as a place for us to work from. So these are actions that you've taken since then. You formed this committee, which is amazing.
you have to amend that line. It's known as the Air Affordable Housing Committee, not the Air Housing Committee.
Correct.
Perfect. Great, thank you.
You're welcome.
So you formed this committee, and then this committee initiated drafting this housing production plan. You passed it in 2018 and then revised again in 2019, the inclusionary housing bylaw, form-based bylaw, the accessory bylaw. You've been designated a housing choice community by the governor. And then most recently, you created the Affordable Housing Trust. All of these collectively are little actions, little bits that get you towards building affordable housing. Affordable housing is going to come in multiple ways. Sometimes it comes in big chunks. You get a big building with a lot of units. Sometimes it's little ones. And each one of these helps and gets you to that in its own unique way. So these are great. And then the last slide on this piece of what have we done, this is the community input. You did this back in November of 2019. You can see you had a public meeting to solicit input on housing and generally affordable housing in the town of Ayer. You had town staff, MRPC staff, housing committee members led some of the breakout groups. And I just snipped a couple of the key questions and the answers, the responses from that program. This one down here, number 5, is kind of interesting. So if Ayer should continue to build more housing, where should that growth happen? And you can match up these responses with some of the zoning amendments that you've done, like the form-based code zoning. So it's good. Everybody's thinking sort of in lockstep, and that's great for the future of housing development in Ayer. All right, so this is really what we're trying to get to is what are we going to do and how are we going to do it, right? There were goals laid out in the master plan that related to affordable housing, and so this first goal is basically what we had just talked about, is that 0.5% annually, 17 affordable units per year for the next 5 years. This may change for the 2020 census, that number, but right now setting it out as a goal based on the existing data, the data that you have, because you have the 2010 census, is what you should go off of. And then these next 3 big bullets are from that 2017 master plan, talking about increasing local capacity. So coordinating housing related committees and organizations. So Council on Aging, this housing committee, you have the Ayer Housing Authority, getting them all to communicate, to share information, talk about issues. And then you utilize social media to blast out information, like letting people know that the accessory dwelling bylaw exists to create additional housing, bringing to their attention opportunities to rent or buy affordable units. So communication with the people is key. Increasing housing opportunities. So as I said, promoting the housing rehab program, and then coordinating with local nonprofits like Habitat for Humanity. And then there are some private developers that actually specialize in affordable housing, so coordinating with them as well. And then, of course, encouraging housing development that is sustainable, affordable, and serves all the residents. And that's key, serving all the residents. Market rate housing serves only a small segment of the population. So affordable is the opportunity to make sure you reach a wider breadth of people. So the implementation plan, these are some of the specific actions you're going to try to take to help reach those goals. CDBG funds for the housing rehab program. I know Alicia just talked about that one, but this is something that was mentioned. We can reconsider that one if we don't want to. Be responsive to friendly 40Bs. Not every 40B is shove it into the community. There's some people come in and say, hey, listen, here's what we're thinking about doing. We'd like to do this together. Where would you like it done? How can we do this together? So being prepared for something like that is key. A document like that gets you in the right mindset. The inclusionary bylaw, promoting it and using it. Same with CPA housing funds and payment in lieu funds that come from the inclusionary bylaw. As I mentioned previously, collaborate with Habitat for Humanity and anybody else that you can work with. Collaboration is key. This is the type of thing that takes a village, right? Affordable housing is not something developers organically go to. You have to do a little bit more effort and work with groups of people at the state and in the private sector. Pursue any planning grants and DLTA grants. This document that we're producing was produced through a DLTA grant with the MRPC. And then they had mentioned promoting the open space cluster development bylaw. It's a great way for building housing, clustering it rather than just spreading it out over, nice untouched land. But also, if it starts to get of a certain size, it kicks in the inclusionary component. So this is a quick summary. before the end of the presentation. Just some things to keep in mind. Ayer, as I mentioned, has an aging population, and it has less occupants per household on average. There are lower average incomes, and as expected, there's lower mortgages and rents compared to other communities. Ayer has passed many new housing-related zoning bylaws and created this committee. So there's been many actions that have taken that are great, and you should continue down that path. Some of the best opportunities for producing affordable housing might be infill and housing rehab using the accessory bylaw or the CDBG funds if you choose to go that route, primarily because it's near infrastructure, water, sewer, roads, etc. And then on the flip side is the larger, more dense housing in the zoning districts that allow it, like the new form-based zoning districts. As I had mentioned, affordable owner-occupant might be a prime target, primarily because 2/3 of the housing tenure here in Ayer is owner-occupied, and people can qualify for the mortgages. They can qualify for the subsidy. They're under the area median income of 80%, and they can qualify for a mortgage. And then to do all this, Ayer should pursue grants and promote the new bylaws and collaborate where possible. Those are 3 key strategies to getting these things done. Get some funds, promote, and collaborate. So, as I mentioned at the beginning, the next steps are to finish up the plan. You're part of it today. We've already talked about how we might make an edit towards the updating the subsidized housing inventory data. So once that's done, we're going to go before the planning board and the board of selectmen, make a similar presentation like this, and hopefully, fingers crossed, get their approval. That is a step that's required. And if there's any comments that come out of that, we'll make those changes, but then we're going to submit it to DHCD for their approval. They have their standards, they have to review it and approve it, and then it's a certified housing production plan. And that begins to set things in motion. So that's the timing of the next steps, or at least what we need to do. And I'm happy to take questions, comments, solicit some feedback.
All right, this is Janet. I just want to, say thank you, definitely very much. Can you hear me?
Absolutely, yep.
Can you hear? Okay, just wanted to double check. There were just a couple things like within the document that I do have some feedback on. Some of it is minor, but so I don't know where those quote unquote edits can take place. One of the things that we've changed from being a board of selectmen, it's called the select board now. So if we can, wherever, you do have something for the BOS, if we can get that changed. The other thing too is I'm going to go back to with regards to the SHI and the inventory for being 2019 versus 2020. Most of our figures here, and I just had Alicia going through my head, are all from 2019 census information and such. Are we mixing apples with puppies? Putting in two different dates, within the document. Is it better for us to stick with one date as being, like you're saying, 2017 is when the master plan, and that's your starting point. If we go ahead and say, well, everything on this document is 2019, and this is where we need to move forward, then let's keep everything at 2019. Does that make sense?
No.
Am I losing you guys?
Someone was talking or trying to.
I didn't want to interrupt anyone. It's a little bit apples to puppies in this case. The 2019 census numbers, the American Community Survey numbers you're seeing, those were published in December of 2020, because there's a delay in had the survey occurring, and then when they're finally the finalized numbers are published by the Bureau of the Census, and so that only happened about 2.5 months ago at the latest, whereas the 2019 SHI numbers, I believe the 2020 numbers were available around the same time period. So it might be best just to use those as the most recent numbers.
And Alicia, I don't know if you heard, but you know, I'm questioning whether or not we should update the numbers to being more current. You know, I had your voice going through my head of, you know, keeping everything, trying to be as consistent as possible instead of having different dates all over the place.
Well, the only reason I was coming up with that concept was twice now it's been asked. And Karen's suggesting that it's going to get asked again by DHCD. So maybe we just update it because we all know the difference. And then we don't have to deal with the question being asked again. But I think it really is 6 of one, half dozen another. Because what we're saying in there is that our numbers are dropping. We're admitting that, you know, so if I update that, then I'm also going to update how many more we're going to lose, because it was over a 7-year period that we're losing all these rehab houses that were allowed on the list early on when they started keeping the list, and is no longer allowed on. And so, but they didn't remove them. They allowed us to maintain them. They just didn't let us put any new ones on. So I don't know. I guess it's the committee's decision. It's your document. Whatever you guys want to do. I don't have an argument either way.
I want to go with the newest figures, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's go ahead and do the apples and puppies. Okay. All right. And like I said, Blair, if I've got edits to the document, like some questions and such, like one of the questions I had is on the executive summary, the first sentence that we've been designated as an environmental justice community. Who did that designation?
That was Alan. Sorry, Blair.
I was going to recommend, Janet, that we as a committee talk separately about that
Okay.
document. And
Okay,
run
no
through it
problem then. All
without
right.
having MRPC here, and then we can put our edits together
Yep, that sounds
Okay.
good.
and then send them back over to them and run it by Alicia and Alan.
I do like the presentation. I mean, this is going to be great for the select board and the planning board. So it would be nice if we could get a copy of it as well, especially with the updated 2020 numbers for the SHI. Is that possible,
Yeah.
Blair?
All of that is possible. I anticipated sharing this document. You already have the text document, but sharing the PowerPoint as well.
Okay.
But I will do that after making some of the edits that you've all talked about,
Excellent.
particularly with the SHI. And it would be my preference if your comments went through Alicia,
Okay.
and then she can send them over to us.
Yeah. Makes sense.
If you don't mind.
Far from it. Makes it a lot easier for us too. So.
Yeah.
Okay, is there, Ken or Karen, do you have any other questions or anything else like that with regards to the presentation?
I think the excuse me, being one that sits in an audience at town meetings and watches all of these type of presentations, this is extremely user-friendly. It is not talking over anyone's head. It is not intimidating, and it's really spot on facts that just really have opened my eyes, having been involved in this all my life and lived here all my life. This is what I have been saying all along, and to see it, thank you, thank you, thank you. That's all I can say. I'm excited.
No, that was perfect. You said
No,
perfect.
I'm
words. Thank you.
serious. Blair, you have no idea how long I've been fighting and running this battle. When you opened with those numbers, I went, oh my God. And that's when everything fell apart in this office and I had to black out. I'm like, oh my God, he's on point. So thank you. Thank you. We're getting there. We're getting there.
Yeah. We're gonna
Janet,
get- Yes,
I just want to understand a little better about the rehab units. From my understanding, and I'm not a CDBG expert at all, but from my understanding, when the rehabs are done, the people who are getting the rehab have to be income qualified.
Mhm.
And so I thought that there is already a restriction put on because it's a CDBG project. And that's the restriction that allows it to go on to the SHI.
I'm gonna have Alicia, handle it because they do have it, but from what I understand is a certain, it's like a 15-year, it's not.
Right.
Yeah, and those are the ones that, are definitely coming off. Alicia?
So if you guys remember the little A, big A,
Yes.
little affordable means that it's there, but it doesn't get counted. And the big A affordable. So DHCD changed about, I don't know, it was a little bit before my times before, and I started in 2012. They changed and said, we are not taking anything for the SHI list that is not either a LIP, local initiative project, or an LAU, local action unit. So if you don't put those documents on, and it's quite cumbersome to put those documents on. So they just eliminated, even though we've qualified, so we have a lot of little A units,
Okay.
which means they're affordable units, they just don't count. And it was MRPC that explained to us the little A, big A. And we have lots and lots of little A's.
Okay.
But if you don't put the LAU or the lip on, it doesn't get counted.
Yeah.
And
no homeowner is going to want to do all that.
And no homeowners are going to want to do all that. And when we
Yeah.
just did our habitat project, which was what, 2014, 2015, you guys? We did 2 habitat units and we gave Habitat the land. And one of the requirements was that they be made, I don't know if we made them lip units or LAU units. I think we made them lip
Lip.
units.
I thought they're lip. Yeah.
Yeah, and we were the first to, because Habitat doesn't even like doing that.
Yeah.
But we worked it through and we got those to be lip units, and which was great because that was the exchange for the land, that we
Right.
get 2 units to count on our
Right.
list. So
We actually did that in towns in a habitat house that was a lip, and it is a lot of work.
yeah,
It is.
it added almost a year on to the process.
Yeah.
Oof.
Yeah.
So,
Okay. Now that you're explaining it, I remember that I think it was 2010 that they changed that regulation.
yeah. And
So thank you for jogging my memory.
And I've talked to DHCD about this and they're not, so when we did our master plan, the consultant wanted to not count all of our housing rehab units that were already counted. She goes, those aren't real units because they're going to disappear. And I argued, and I talked to DHCD and they said, no, we didn't take them away from you. They are just going to disappear. You just can't do them anymore.
Right.
And so
No
we
new
left them on.
ones. Okay. Thank you,
So
Lisa.
So to that end, would a comment be that we should consider removing references in this HPP about pursuing CDBG funds for rehab program units?
Well, we might want to change how we say that, because what we do is we do help all the quiet little A people who are affordable. And we do want to continue helping those people. So maybe we change how we say that.
Yeah, good point. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. I would say that you definitely include that as naturally affordable units that
Yeah.
And you can put a dig to CDP, to DHCD and say, because they're no longer allowed on the SHI. But we still continue to do this for the low income people of our community.
I like that.
I think
Because
it's,
they still have to income qualify to get a rehab
Right.
loan. It's
Yeah.
just not going the extra steps to get on the SHI.
Correct.
and,
All right. So we're still helping lower income, the people that we're targeting
right,
with our subsidies.
Right.
It's just a difference between big A and little A.
Right. But you should definitely get credit for that.
Now,
well,
one, go
don't we,
ahead.
I think this is an important distinction for us to, I've talked about this in the beginning because I couldn't quite understand why our town wasn't considered more affordable until I got educated about the big A versus the small A.
Mhm.
But I would venture to say that there's 99% of the people in the town who still don't understand that distinction. And we do definitely want to, support those people that are the small A in whatever we can do. So if we're talking about a housing production plan, yeah, I think this is probably the most important thing we've talked about right now is part of our housing production plan should always be to protect those that are in an affordable situation, but may need assistance just to stay there. Is as important as creating new big A projects in town. I think that's kind of the way we're looking at it, Alicia, isn't it? In a
Yeah.
big picture way. Yeah. So
I think that's a key point is retaining existing residents.
correct, right,
People that have made a life here, you don't want them to have to feel pushed out because they can't afford things anymore.
right.
That's
And they may never get up to the point where they can afford one of the big A's. Always going to be in that situation where they just need help to stay where they are and get the place improved or whatever the case might be.
And
Right.
almost every project I did this last 2018 CDBG grant with rehab was elderly, over 62. And that represents our community that has this large elderly population, but they can't always put a roof on or a new furnace in or that sort of thing. And so that's what the rehab does. I mean, that's a good,
Mhm.
Yeah, older houses and fixed incomes are not a good match.
No.
Correct.
So that's what happens all the time. So yeah, that's a really good point. I'll be sure to point that out because as we noted, we are having an aging population in Ayer. So the importance of that program starts to become, more and more. So mentioning that, I'll make sure I mention that.
Right. Because that's good, because that's going to be a great balance, so that we still look for new ideas for being the large A, but then when you look at the little A, we're going to be able to maintain and keep things affordable.
Important.
All right.
I'd like to
Anything-
thank MH, you guys too did a great job. Thank you very much.
I agree. All right. If there's no other feedback, then I'll let you guys off the hook right now. And we look forward to getting the copies of this. And thank you again for all your hard work. This is good. We're moving in the right direction. I tell you, like you say, we've got a great team.
Thank you.
Yep.
No problem.
All right.
I just have to say, Karen, you go, Karen. We're Karens. We stick together.
You better believe it.
I'm a Ken. How's that? We got two Karens and a Ken on the thing.
Good group.
This is the best thing that I've heard all week. So thank you.
Oh, well, that's awesome. Blair and Jonathan have done a great job. I was just here to answer questions.
You're a really great team and I greatly appreciate it, especially with the fighting I have right now for our elderly. It is beyond anything I have ever experienced in my 21 years sitting in this chair. It
Oh,
is
I'm sure.
horrible, 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 horrible. And these numbers, that 14%, 114, 117% up, I knew, but to see it, you can't deny it. So
Every one of our communities is the same story.
and nobody wants to listen to me.
Yeah.
Nobody. It's all brand new schools, brand new athletic field. So thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
All
Well,
right.
You're
Can I bring
welcome.
up one thing? I'm sorry,
Go
before
ahead,
we let
Lisa.
them go.
Go ahead.
I noticed that you, in the presentation, you were talking about more single-family residents, and we've talked a lot about rentals in town because rentals seem to, a lot of people come to Ayer for rentals. Is there, what do people think about having at least a little bit of an emphasis on, and what we're trying to build in a 40B possibly is rental units. So I wouldn't mind laying a little groundwork towards that. Does anybody else have anything?
I don't
to
think
say
you're
about
going to get hurt one way or another with this particular report regarding, the actual development process that comes about. It's a summary basically of what our goals are, but nobody's getting left out if a development comes along that we feel is going to fit with the community. At least that's my opinion anyway.
Okay.
I don't know.
I mean, rentals do count better than ownership. Ownership, you only get to count the ones that are actually affordable. With rentals, you can count them all in a project. The affordable and the not affordable.
Okay. I think it's a wonderful presentation, and I think that the product that MRPC put together has, we really appreciate it. So let's just go with this.
Excellent.
And the joint meeting is still next Tuesday?
No, that got
Okay.
moved.
Okay, good.
Didn't
I
I
was
send
gonna
that to you,
say, that's a
Blair?
lot to do before the presentation.
Well, wait,
No.
isn't it on Thursday?
I thought it was on Tuesday.
No, it's the March one.
It's,
Oh, March.
Yeah, the agenda was already full for February, so we got bumped to March.
Oh,
That's the March 2nd one, right?
correct.
March 2nd. Okay.
Which is good. It gives me a little breathing room, gives all of us a little breathing room to put this stuff together and get it back to you.
Well, it was
So if you
great to
have-
see all of you again.
If anybody has any more comments, please don't think that you're done commenting at this point in time when we leave. Send them to Alicia, and she can process them and send them on to us. So yeah, we all remember things we wish you said as soon as the presentation's over. So
Always.
yeah.
Oh, you got it. All right.
Thank
again,
you.
thank
Appreciate
you.
the opportunity.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Okay, you can end sharing.
Okay, good.
Okay. All right. Thanks all. Scott, we're going to be needing a little more time.
You got it.
All right, thank you. All right, because what we want to do is, I thought that was a great presentation. And you're right, Karen, of the population is getting older throughout, and I think that's all throughout most of Massachusetts, really. And I mean, I know that we've got different requests for monies throughout the whole town and communities, but we do need some sort of senior center. And this isn't really the forum for it, but it would be nice, to go ahead and find out what else is going on with it.
That would be a lovely, lovely direction to be able to go in. Only because I'm out here all by myself in limbo.
Well,
So,
let us know what some of us other volunteers can go ahead and do. Okay.
I would be more than happy to do that off screen. Thank you.
Okay. All right. I know Ken wanted to talk about the document itself, above and beyond that presentation. Like I say, I definitely had some questions.
I'm
So,
very sorry about sending the wrong one. I had updated it, and then so I just thought it was right, and then it was
It's
not the right
okay.
one.
it's okay. Don't
It's
worry.
okay. Okay.
It's not that much difference. I mean, I
No,
didn't do any work on the new one. I worked on the old one. I got a few things, but it can't be that much. You added the contents and a few other things, right? What was the main difference, Alicia, between the two?
That was the contents, and Alan wrote an introductory paragraph that was very good, and that's just the first page. So if people want to take a moment for the introductory paragraph, that was something that I had been looking for a while, and because it was much more personal, but that's also where you're going to see that environmental justice information.
Yeah, and that's what when I saw that, I started doing research on it, where it's like, okay, if you're looking at an environmental justice population, all right, it looks as if a Black group whose annual median household income is equal to or less than 65% of the statewide median. All right. I'm just trying to think, is that what he went ahead and put together, saying that this is how we've got designated as this? I mean, go ahead.
Sorry.
No, that's all right.
Let me ask him to do his reasoning and his document and his formula for why we are in environmental justice. He uses this a lot in grants. And so, but it is actually a formula, and it has to do with the train going through the middle of town. And so we got noise. Whenever I do a rehab project, I have to do an environmental checkoff list. And we check for everything because we have toxic sites very close to us. We've got the train. Everybody's within 3,000 feet of the train practically. I have to measure all these things, like how close you are to environmental sites, how close you are to the train, how close you are to all these sorts of things. So that actually puts you open to environmental issues.
All right, so that designated as, again, is this the state that designated us as that?
There's a division in the state that does it. But the way I understood it, I went to another class on this somewhere along the line, but I thought they actually pinpointed specific locations in town as environmental justice sections of the community, not the entire community, but I could be wrong about that.
I think there is just sections, but let me get Alan to give a clarification on this.
You can click on the, Oliver, the state GIS, and scroll down and you can find the environmental communities as a drop down on one of their tabs and whatnot. But
Yes.
Yeah, I saw that. Okay, go ahead. If you want
So
to
the question I wanted to ask you, Lisa, the document I looked at in yellow, it had that big, I guess what might be the introduction. Is that what you're referring to?
Yeah, that was the introduction. And Alan wrote actually three or four paragraphs to add in there.
More than that, so the last division has more.
Yeah, so that's a big change there. The new one that I sent you, what happened was, remember we met with John Hume before, and then they brought on Blaine because they've got so much work to do. And Blaine's done a great job on this. I can't tell you what a great job he's done on this. So we chose to update all the the American Community Survey information because we were going by 2018. And this had taken so long. We wanted it as up to speed as possible, updated as possible. So numbers changed in there. And then there was, I don't remember which one I sent you the first time around. So let me go look at that.
Number what?
I don't, the first,
it was 2019 numbers.
okay. So those had changed, but what hadn't changed was, you know what it was? Actually, the one I sent you is the updated one. It just didn't have the index because the yellow is what Alan had updated.
Yeah, that's the way I saw it too.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
Yeah. So I was that's where I thought we would start, is somewhere along making comments on. That doesn't really matter. What I'm trying to get at is there's not much difference between the one you sent us, which has some yellow markings, and the last one, which just has the contents added or the indexes added and stuff.
So when we were sending it back to them, we were trying to decide if we were just going to include our edits without showing them what we had edited or not. And so that's why the mix up in which one I sent you.
Okay.
I don't think it's a problem.
Yeah, no, I don't think so either, because, yeah.
So the draft that I have, which has the yellow in the first paragraph, which is looks like it's even got a different size font. So to me, it was clear that somebody had dropped that in there.
Yes.
That looks like Alan's history,
Yeah.
let's call it his history lesson.
Yes.
And I'm not sure if where we start, I guess is what I'm getting at.
Well, I mean, the whole thing behind it, I mean, I just have to let everybody know, I don't know how long we can stay online. Okay.
Do you
So-
want to have another meeting? Do you guys want to read through this, mark it up, and have another meeting?
Yes.
All right. And if this is the case, though, pardon?
Works for me.
Okay, so if that's the case, if we want to present this though on the 24th, I mean, as a draft, we want to be able to get our feedback before then.
So
I thought you just said it was moved back to another
I thought it was March 2nd.
date.
No, our public information.
Oh,
Oh,
I
That's
didn't know this was coming up that night, to be quite honest with you. I thought we were talking about the housing trust on the 24th, not the housing production plan.
Well, that's one of the things on the agenda, okay, is to say, with the public information, I lost my agenda, there it is. What do we want to do for the outline the public information session? What do we want to hit? Where it's going to be a draft bylaw. And then I thought maybe we would, do a draft housing production plan.
I think that's premature.
Okay,
You got enough to do with the housing
okay.
trust and all that stuff, don't you?
The Yeah,
production- I mean, the production plan's been in production for what, 9 months or something? It's been a while.
mhm.
So it's a pretty
I have a
comprehensive doc. It needs its own presentation, basically, instead of trying to squeeze it in, is what I'm getting at.
Okay.
That's my thought. I don't know. What do you think, Alicia?
well, I actually think Blair did. I think you guys are going to look like superstars at the board, the select board's meeting
Yeah.
when Blair does this presentation for the planning board and the select board, because he really knocked it out of the park on his presentation. And so that's a public hearing. That is a public hearing, and we're going to be having the planning board and the select board vote on that at that point.
And that's March 2nd.
And that's March 2nd.
So you have to have the 2-week window for that. If it's a hearing, you have to advertise it.
I don't know if it's a hearing or if you guys just have to vote on it. I better confirm that.
Yeah, well, you said it was a hearing, so that's why
So, but I don't think we have to, I think he told me we didn't have to publicly post it.
okay.
But maybe we want to. That's something that you guys can decide, because this is coming out of your committee.
When you,
Well, if it's what I'm getting at with the hearing, it confines you with the date, because you might have already run out of time to advertise. it.
correct.
You need,
I-
if it's March 2nd, you may not have enough time to get the ad written up and put it in the newspaper for the 2 weeks.
I've been told I didn't need to post an ad on this.
Okay,
All right,
well,
cool.
whoever told you that should confirm it, I guess.
Yeah,
Right.
I need to confirm it.
And
I have
I,
a question. Why do I have us in here for the 16th with the selectmen for housing?
We were being really, when we set this up last meeting, we set it up for the 16th. We've been taking so long to get this done. I was being really aggressive. But then we sat with Robert last week and asked to put it on the agenda, and he said, we don't have time.
Okay,
Okay.
gotcha.
okay, now, from what I understand with regards to public hearings, if this is a statutory, a statutory requirement, then it has to be a public hearing. If it isn't a statutory requirement, we can have a public information session, which means you don't need to have the,
Right.
And
okay? So I don't know if the housing production plan is something that is a statutory requirement. So that's something you got to ask Robert.
I'm pretty sure it's not, but I will confirm.
Yeah, I think so too. So if that's, like I say, the case, then on the 24th, we'll just focus in on the housing trust public information session and just discuss the bylaw, discuss what we want to do is make sure that we invite, people who are interested in becoming Board of Trustees. Like this is something else that we were looking at of, reviewing the process, asking the people who we have on the list for a letter of intent, talk to those that we really haven't spoken to yet. We also have another name that has been added. It looks as if Cindy Lavin would go ahead and would like to be, on the list of possible candidates. So with that, I think if we look at the housing trust bylaws, what the Board of Trustees, the job is, and who can apply. And with that, some of the upcoming projects, and one of the upcoming projects is finalizing the housing production plan, working with developers on other projects, within the town. And as they come more to fruition, we can go ahead and give out more information, but keep it as simple as that because we don't have anything really set in stone. Does that sound like a good agenda for the 24th?
Mhm.
Yes,
Okay.
Yep.
All right. So we just keep the info session just on the housing trust. Got it. Okay. All right. So with that, then I think if we all review the document and such, when will people want to meet up again? I would like to try to get feedback to Massachusetts as soon as possible. I mean, it would seem, I don't want that to be hanging over their head.
Do you want to do it on the 19th, next week?
Set it up whenever you want. Janet,
Yeah.
you have the most difficult schedule and I'll
Yeah.
make it work. I'll make it work.
I'll make
Yeah.
it work.
All right. I think the 19th would be good. We can do it on that Friday.
I agree. They've been wonderful about being responsive to us, and I'd like to get it to them as fast as possible.
Mm-hmm. And what I'll do is, like, I've already got stuff written up. I can go ahead and take some of my comments and send it to you all, just to see if we're on the same page. Okay.
Okay.
And then Alicia, you can have Alan, give us some feedback with regards to, the state designated. And because I want it to be emphasized that it's just not thrown nilly-willy of designated as, it's like the state has designated, or, whatever the litmus test is on how we get designated as an environmental justice community.
Janet, 10 o'clock?
Janet, sorry. I've only got like a half a dozen things, Janet. Why don't I write it up and send it to you first before you send your stuff to Alicia?
Okay.
So
Why
you'll.
don't we just do it all, can we
I can
talk
send it to
about this
Alicia
all
if you want.
together
Yeah, it's no
through
big deal.
email?
Well, yeah, that's what I mean, if you want to do it first, Ken, all right, what I can do then is I'll add mine to yours.
Yeah. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll send you a few things I have.
Okay.
You can give me a telephone call and decide if this stuff should move forward from there.
Okay.
And then we send it to Alicia. How's that? Make sense?
That sounds good. And Karen, if you've got feedback too as well.
Mhm.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Send it on to us. And we'll do it by email, and then we'll have something pushed together so that by the 19th,
Right. It'll be done.
they'll be done.
Okay.
Okay. I think that sounds good. And 10 o'clock,
Do I have to post this meeting if we do the 19th? I do, because it's going to be a quorum.
correct.
Yep.
Okay.
It still has to be an open meeting, correct.
Yes, you do.
Because Monday's a holiday, so that means that I got to come in and get it done.
Well, how about if I just go ahead and send it? I mean, I'll I can do it up. All right.
That's
And-
okay. Well, whatever you want to do. If you want to do it, you're more than welcome to it. I'm not fighting for it, but
Cause that's
I
all,
just was like thinking aloud.
yeah, cause really that's the only thing that's going to be on the agenda. We're not going to, the only thing is discussing the document. That's it.
Mhm.
Just like we did with the bylaws. That was it. So I'll put an agenda together, send it out, and yeah, I'll do it
Use
today.
the letterhead from this one because
Yeah.
this one has Carly's name on it.
Got it. Shall do. Okay. All right, so again, 10 o'clock. That sounds good.
Yes,
All right,
Cool.
and then one other thing I'll probably put on there is just an agenda for the layout of the Housing Trust Info Session. I'll have an agenda for that too as well. I
Good.
mean, so those are the two items we'll discuss on the 19th.
Good.
All right. Okay. And then just moving
Um,
along. Go ahead.
Janet, I don't mean to interrupt, but I just glanced down at our today's agenda and look at the very bottom of our today's agenda. It says upcoming meetings. Oh, wrong month. Never mind.
That's right.
Get it.
You got to remember February and March mirror each other, except
You know,
for 28 and 29 days, whatever.
I'm
That's okay.
surprised I still have a brain.
Let me look.
Sorry about that.
Let me look.
Oh, yeah.
It's there. It's there. No problem.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, well, like I say, it works out no matter what.
Yeah.
The next on the agenda is the rental assistance program. Start reviewing emergency rental assistance programs. Alicia, you want us, like look at applications and things in other communities or on how? other communities-
Let's kick this this can down the road.
Okay.
One thing that I want to say is Groton actually ended up having Metro West put their rental assistance program together. And I actually haven't had time. I haven't been in the office enough to have time to talk to Metro West and talk to some of the but we need to look at the different ways to put a rental assistance program together.
Okay.
And I also want to find out how many people are using it too. Very interestingly, some of our programs that we got COVID relief for aren't being used heavily. And because there's a lot of money out there and there's a lot of aid out there. And so it's not that I'm adverse to this, but we might want to do more of a long-term rental assistance program, much like what Boxborough did, which is just, we agreed to do rental assistance for 5 families or 10 families for so much. And that's the stuff that we need to talk about, but let's kick it down the road and get through the developing the trust and all that.
Okay.
I agree.
All right. That sounds good. All right. We've got old business, new business for discussions. I don't really have anything. I think we've got enough on our plate for new business, and we've already talked about a lot of this stuff for old business. Ken disappeared, so I don't know if he's got anything.
He's out hiking.
I know.
He's hiking. Go Ken.
I'm trying to get ready this afternoon for my hike.
Make sure you do.
I just want to say that I really want to echo what Karen said. It's so evident just in the last few years, I haven't been in my whole life, but
Lucky you.
the years that I've been on the committees, I actually started putting together a list myself, and because I was going to give it to the planning board of the things that have happened in the last 5 years. And it's pretty astounding. The things that have become documented. Now, what used to happen, I guess, in the past is people would talk about things, but didn't have the professionals in town hall I'm giving a boost now to the folks in town hall to reach out to places like Montechusett in the state. In Chapa, that Chapa stuff was incredible.
Awesome.
Okay. So the reach out from within the community to the resources that were available, maybe they were available in the past, maybe they weren't, but it's evident now that we're getting this professional assistance and it's chip by chip adding up and rounding out the whole process. It's just going to make the town a better place in the future, not because people are talking about it, because it's documented now. You can see the steps that have to be taken. where people would speculate, I guess, in the past, we should do this, we should do that. So I'm very delighted, and every week you can learn something new. It's amazing. I went to some conservation stuff in the last couple of weeks, and it's just unbelievable. I mean, how much you can learn about open space and this natural heritage stuff. I mean, everything you can imagine.
Mhm.
And you don't, I guess, using Alan's term about the junction, it's more about a junction or a nexus of ideas than it is a physical junction. And if you can take that concept of a nexus of ideas, and it ends up working throughout the whole thing, open space, conservation, affordable housing, new zoning, it's many, many pieces that come together. And ultimately, I believe what's going to happen is we are going to see the right kind of people wanting to move to Ayer and wanting to build in Ayer because they see this framework ready to go. And that's what I think you guys ought to pat yourself on the back for, meaning talking to Alicia
Uh-huh.
and
Well,
Yeah.
I think we
Janet.
need to really pat the community on the back because the community has supported having a town hall filled with professionals. And that is, how many times have we gone and asked the community and they says, sure, go, yes, we support you. And that's a really good thing. Think about getting the trust passed with a unanimous vote. I mean,
Right.
that's amazing. And
Yeah.
think about the committees we have. I
Yeah.
mean, I appreciate it. Thank you, Ken. I think it's everything coming together and it's always fun when that happens.
Mhm.
Oh, it's
Two
good to
things.
see it. So I appreciate it, Janet. And, keep it up.
Well, what do you got? One thing I go ahead and I think about is, we've got strong volunteers and such, but if it wasn't for the professionals that could go ahead and carry the load, I mean, we can go ahead and do all this, I want to say all this other work and everything, but you guys have got the connections, you've got the resources. We don't know that until we come into, committees like this, so that we get to tap your brains and say, okay, great. Now, how can we make this happen? And, you guys in town hall are the ones that are able to do that. So I agree with Ken.
Can I just say something to you guys? But the community has supported that happening in this town hall. And Alan went up and did a pro bono for the town of Pepperell Planning Board. And they have a 15-hour week planning assistant. That is all they have. They don't have a planner. They don't have an economic development director. They don't have a community development program manager. They don't have an assistant, which is what Heather is. So, so one person 15 hours a week barely can take the minutes for the different committees and get them posted.
Mhm.
And the town of Ayer has had a long commitment of, supporting different projects and supporting staff. And that's important.
Yeah, nope, I agree. And it's like, oh, and Ken, taking what you said about junction, of being a no. I mean, all of a sudden what popped into my head was a junction is also to taking everything that's diversity. I mean, that's exactly what Ayer is. We're a diversified group and
Yep.
we have made it into a junction, of putting us all together. So I thought that was very good, Ken. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
And it's like, oh, all right. Well, I don't want to keep Scott too long. And I don't want to keep you guys long. So what we'll do is we will meet next week, next Friday. And I will, like I say, put the agenda together and send it out. I think that will work out good of going through this document. Ken, I look forward to your feedback and Karen as well. And we'll send it on to Alicia.
Okay.
Thank you guys for everything.
Thank you, and I hope all the vaccinations go well down there.
They're not. We don't have any more. Have you gotten the news?
No,
It's out there. Yeah, I had everything all rolled out for 6 weeks, and we will not be getting vaccines starting next week. So I get to call everybody and tell them the great news. It's not good. It's not good. If anybody has any suggestions that could help me, bring them on.
I know.
I have a suggestion.
What?
Straighten out that poster in the back here. It's a little crooked.
Oh, it's crooked for a reason. It's part of my personality.
All right, can I hear a motion to adjourn the meeting?
I'll make a motion to adjourn our meeting.
Aye.
Second.
You got it. In favor, aye.
Aye.
All right, Scott, meeting's adjourned.